One time, I was asked to describe my mom in one word, and I said, champion. And then I watched my 4 sisters' faces as we realized that all 5 of us, without having talked to each other ahead of time, had picked the exact same word. Because my mom, Cindy, was a champion. But literally, her sports trophies filled an entire room. I swear, if you gave that woman a ball or a stick, she would come home a winner. But more than that, my mom championed other people. When I started my own business, I remember her saying, "Oh, you're so cool for doing that." And then later, I remember her saying, "I love that you're using your success to help others." Because you see, at the time, many of my friends were young parents who wanted to work but couldn't do so full time. And as many parents with young children know, it's difficult to find work that's willing to be accommodating to that. So I built a company where my friends could work in their own way and on their own time, and my mom loved that. But in March of 2022, my phone rang. "Your mom's in the hospital." She had terminal brain cancer and at most had 18 months left to live. At the same time, my business was facing trouble for the first time, and I was terrified I was going to let my people down. So I worked harder and longer hours. I gave more and more to my business, my employees, my friends, my family, and of course, to my mom. Every day I gave absolutely everything that I had. But after just 14 months, my mom passed away. And 2 months after that, I closed my business. I lost my champion and my purpose. And so I finally gave myself permission to sit down and rest. But then I couldn't get back up. We all want to be seen as competent and capable. So we take on more and more things. We work harder. We give everything that we can. But living like this can come with a cost. Exhaustion, stress, resentment, or worse. Recent studies have shown that almost half of U.S. workers feel burned out or close to it. So, is there a way that we can get everything done that we're supposed to get done without paying such a high price? When we've taken on too much, and we're obviously stressed out, well-meaning friends, family, and colleagues love to give us advice. And this advice tends to fall into 2 buckets. Bucket 1, do less. Just put in the minimum amount of effort. Delegate. Take a break. Take a vacation. But to me, do less always felt like you were asking me to care less, and I can't do that. So, no thank you. So instead you might hear, practice time management, meditate, do yoga, start running, go outside, go to bed earlier, get up earlier, drink more water, eat less gluten, see a therapist, go to brunch with the gals, listen to this podcast, read this book, pet a dog, any dog. And of course, these things can work, but if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now, that's the point. Where bucket 1 is do less, bucket 2 feels like do more, which is probably the worst advice we can give someone on the verge of burnout. We want to believe that the more good things we do, the more rewards we'll receive. But this isn't true. There's research that shows that beyond a certain point, even the most virtuous behaviors will at best give you diminishing returns. And at worst, these good things can become harmful to you. But if do less and do more aren't the answer, what's left? I could tell you that you just need to figure out your priorities. Or in other words, do right. But I won't. Because I thought I was doing all the right things when I was prioritizing my mom and those who worked for me. But that did not stop the stress from putting my health at risk. So, what's the solution? Well, after closing my business and eventually finding the strength to stand again, I applied to a master's program at Harvard, where I studied stress and well-being. And here's the most important thing that I learned. You can give your best without giving your all. I used to think that overachieving was a good thing because overachievers are rock stars who always exceed expectations. But that's only half the story. Overachieving also means overextending or giving more than we can sustainably give, and that is not a good thing, even if you're overextending for a good cause. If you ever had if you played high school sports, you probably had a coach at some point tell you that if you want to succeed, you need to leave it all on the field or the court, or in my case, the stage. And if you're in middle school, sure, this advice works because what? You've got like one championship game, and with a middle school body, all you need is some water, fruit snacks, and a nap, and you can heal from just about anything. But this advice doesn't work for real life, and that's why the pros don't do it. If you're in the NBA, you can't leave it all on the court because you have multiple games a week. My mom taught me that true champions pace themselves to give their best, but not their all, so that win or lose, they can pick back up and go again the next game. And your best can look different every day. We need to stop treating life like it's a one-off game where we can just give everything that we've got to give and not worry about what comes afterwards. Sure, if today is the last game you're ever going to play, go ahead, give your all. But if you've got a game tomorrow, give your best. I call this approach even achieving. So, what's even achieving? Even achieving is getting everything done that needs to get done without sacrificing your ability to do your best tomorrow. So, instead of only focusing on what we want to get done, let's check in on how we're getting things done, especially when it comes to our pace and our presence. If we want to take better care of our individual health, so our physical, mental, and emotional well-being, we need to check in on our pace. If we want to take better care of our social health and not push everyone away while we're accomplishing our goals, then we need to check in on our presence. So let's do it. Let's check in. Let's even see if we're even achieving. First, I'm going to talk about projects, work projects, home projects, anything that's got a clear start and end date. During a project, I want you to ask yourself this one question. If I continue at this pace, when I'm done, will I have enough energy left to celebrate? Because let's be honest, when this project is over, there is going to be another project, and you've got to pick yourself back up and go again. Plus, a good celebration matters. But life isn't always perfect projects with obvious end dates. We all have seasons of life where things are hard, unexpected, or out of our control. And if you're like me, you still want to make sure you're not pushing away those that you care about. So for this, I want you to find one person that you care about and ask them, in the last 30 days, have I been present enough for you? Obviously, we hope to hear yeses on both. But if not, that's okay. These aren't meant to be questions to add shame or discouragement to an already overloaded life. Nah, they're just check-ins. And if they're asked regularly enough, they'll give you the chance to recalibrate before it costs you your health or your relationships. I've been teaching this to my friends and my clients, but I'm just as much a student as I am a teacher. Some days, I am great at even achieving. Other days, not so much. Just a few months ago, it was my daughter's birthday party, and they may or may not have gone a little bit overboard trying to create the world's best birthday cake. And let's just say I wasn't exactly nice to be around. If only I'd even achieved that cake, she might even invite me back to her party next year. The goal of even achieving is not to stop reaching for success. No, let's reach for those dreams. The goal is to go as far as you can go without burning out or leaving those that you care about behind. Remember, we don't have to give our all to give our best. In fact, we shouldn't. We can't. True champions will pace themselves so that they have enough energy to celebrate their own success and the presence to cheer their teammates on as well. I believe that everyone deserves the chance to reach for success without drowning in stress. And that's the art of even achieving. Thank you.